Today's session is about industrial psychology as a career with respect to the training and employment. The learning objectives of today's session is to learn the educational qualification required to work as industrial organizational psychologist, the type of work industrial psychologists perform, professional jobs an industrial psychologist can hold, and the placement of employment and job responsibilities of selected industrial organizational psychologists. The session outcomes are: the students would understood the qualification required to work as professional industrial organizational psychologist, the nature of job a industrial organizational psychologist perform, and the professional jobs an industrial organizational psychologist would hold, and the place where the industrial psychologist can work and the type of responsibilities they are going to hold. The minimum requirement for working as an industrial organizational psychologist is a master's degree. Modern industrial organizational psychology is a complex and demanding profession that requires university training, practical experience, and continuing study to keep aware of new developments. The minimum requirement of working as an industrial organizational psychologist, as I said already, is a master's degree in psychology. Industrial organizational psychologists' most marketable skills are in the areas of psychological testing and survey construction and validation, human resource selection and placement, and also in order to appraise the performance of the employees, fair employment practices and employee training. A doctoral degree holders may get higher position in the business and as well as in the universities. They can work as a professors. Industrial organizational psychologists find professional jobs in their specialty areas such as government agencies, consulting firms, research organizations, business, industry, service organizations and universities. Some industrial organizational psychologists also work on contract basis. They evaluate candidates for employment, design a piece of equipment or an assembly line, establish a training program, conduct a survey on consumer acceptance of a new product, determine the relationship between morale and productivity. Industrial organizational psychologists are affiliated primarily with 4 divisions of the American Psychological Association, that is APA. The first one is the Society for Industrial Organizational Psychology, that is SIOP. Second one is the Division of Military Psychology. Third one is the Division of Applied Experiential and Engineering Psychology. And the fourth one is the Society for Consumer Psychology. Many academic and research-oriented industrial psychologists are also affiliated with the American Psychological Society. Now, let us see about the placement of employment of selected industrial organizational psychologists in various organizations. The first organization wherein they are going to be recruited is the human resource consulting firm. Here, the industrial organizational psychologists are going to develop tests and do the validation process. They interview the employees and they train them, and assessment center design, performance appraisal, assessment system design, career development programs and attitude surveys are also conducted by industrial organizational psychologists. The second place wherein the industrial psychologists are going to work is the market research, consulting and promotional services firm. Here, Marketing Research Act, they work as a marketing research project director and they apply social science research skills to proposal development, analysis, writing and for presentation. And the third place where they are going to work is the International Airline Assessment Center Specialist for Overseas Development. So here the industrial organizational psychologists coordinate and supervise assessment center for evaluation of employees being considered for promotion, develop assessment materials, make recommendations to improve effectiveness, select and train staff to become a qualified assessors. The fourth place wherein they are going to be work is the management consulting firm and as a senior level managers. Here they are going to take up overseas projects involving the system approach to training technologies and management and career development training. The other area wherein the industrial organizational psychologists are going to be placed is the human resource research and consulting associates and work as an industrial organization project managers. They work with interdisciplinary staff, like they can act as a psychologist, they work with a sociologist, they also work with a computer science specialist and also are going to work with the educators on as an information system tester. Equally, the employment issues, including providing expert witness testimony, is selected for court cases also. The other place wherein they are placed, the industrial organizational psychologists are going to work as an employee decisions consulting firm, director of human resources. Here, in this area, they provide services in counseling, coaching executive candidates for job interviews, assessment and test interpretation, and also for the career development. The other area wherein the industrial psychologists are going to be placed is the pharmaceutical firms. Here, the industrial organizational psychologists are going to design psychological strategies for employee testing and job analysis, assess the legal considerations in hiring research and recommend changes in corporate compensation procedures, develop and to monitor performance appraisal practices. One more important area wherein the industrial psychologists are going to be placed is the public utility, that is gas, electric company, and they can work as executive in the consultant in organizations and planning and development areas. In these places, they work with the unions, line operations, human resource departments, and senior management groups to redesign human resource system and implement major organizational changes. The other area wherein they are going to be placed is the electronics corporation, team leadership, and work as a communication trainer. In these areas, the industrial organizational psychologists implement self-directed production work teams, and here they train workers in manufacturing team concept, problem solving techniques, leadership development communication, and corporative decision making, monitoring and evaluating the program and document the results. The next area wherein the industrial organizational psychologists are going to be recruited is the telecommunication company human resource research intern. Here in these areas, the industrial organizational psychologists are going to conduct research on human resource programs. One more important area wherein the industrial organizational psychologists are going to work is the state colleges and as an assistant professor of psychology. In the universities or in the colleges, The industrial organizational psychologists are going to teach courses in industrial organization behavior, group process, and test and measurement, and to direct undergraduates to conduct research projects. To summarize this session, master degree is required to work professionally as an industrial organizational psychologist. Doctoral degree is needed in order to find a position of greater responsibility in organizations. Areas and places of employment and job responsibilities of industrial organizational psychologists varies across different types of jobs. Thank you.